the rights. And we find that these modern forms of searching for marriage through the use of internet, whereby pictures are sent to one another, and sometimes these pictures are exposing more than what should be exposed, and discussions are made over the internet in this disguise of chat rooms. The discussions are made through these chat rooms, and this is a form of khalwa. This is a form of being alone. Just because the essence in the hadith is that any man who is alone with a woman, then a third one is shaitan. The person should avoid being alone with a woman. This also comes underneath the same ruling, because now you are talking to a woman, even though you're not visualizing her, but you are having discussion with her, and could ask a certain question which are personal, and she could ask you certain questions that are personal. And likewise, those people who are good in their writing, and many of these novelists that you write, they're not very good looking or have any good character, but they're able to mesmerize you through their words. So when you're writing to the opposite person, you could be stating things which are not true, going beyond the bounds. And likewise, they could be stating things about themselves which are not true. That I look like this, I have this, and I do this, and I do that. So this is a misconception. To use these chat rooms to discuss with people, people should avoid this. The use of the internet to find a spouse. I found my wife on the internet. Wallahi al-azim. Shame on you. There's no manhood within you. The woman mesmerizes you with a few words, or you mesmerize the woman, and that's it. That's the woman for me. Where do you find her? Found on the internet. Good luck to you is what I say. There's a lot more to marriage than just finding a woman on the internet and a few words. Looking at the family. Because many people avoid this. I want to break the barriers. I want to break this cultural Islam. It's not haram to get married from your family. Yes, there are certain evidence that you get married from your intimate cousins and it will create some form of deficiency in your lineage and your family and diseases. But at the same time, you need to be just and fair, that it's also good to keep family ties and to get married within your family. Because unfortunately, many of our families are in a state of jahiliyyah. In ignorance, if you get married from outside the family, oh, you got married from outside the family, great shame. You got married to, excuse my words here, but you got married to a Gora. You got married to a white man, you got married to a black man. This exists in our families. We shouldn't shy away and say it doesn't exist. It does exist. Just because you're practicing, your family's not practicing. We hear it all the time. Or we want to break the barriers. And you need to understand the nature of other people and their society and their people as well. With all respect, black women, they write themselves, you can't live with a black man. So I feel sorry for the Asian sisters who get married to a person from this type, from this area. That your women, they're very soft and humble. They've been looked after in a good manner. So when they get married, they're treated slightly rough. They begin to cry and weep, and it's divorce straight away. We're not saying we shouldn't do this. We should do it, but we should balance and think about what we're doing in the way that we're entering into our relationship and the marriage that we're doing. Even though there should be some exceptions to the rule, they show that we do get married from outside of the family and from other people and other cultures. But this trend has gone so much that because divorce is forever increasing. Sister with 3 children, getting married for a 3rd time. Brother married 4 times, 5 times, 6 children here. What are you creating in society? Failure in society. Failure in society. That is what you are creating. Who is looking after your children? The social services are looking after your children. That's who's looking after your children. Under this disguise of even polygamy. People are signing on and want to get married 2 or 3 times and say, this is sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Go and fend for yourself. And then think about getting married again. Not say I'm reviving this sunnah and then take money from the state. Beg from these people and say, this is sunnah. It is fard for you to earn your living. It is fard for you to earn your living and earn for your own self. It is not fard to get married 2 or 3 times. Misunderstanding of the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then these same brothers we find, after going through 200 meetings, 300 interviews, maybe 1,000 CVs being sent all over the world. The first time he gets to sit with a sister, my first condition is I'm getting married again. Be realistic. Just because a few people have done it and that's it, this becomes a sunnah that you need to do. I'm following the sunnah. I'm following the sunnah, I have to do it. Even more living in this country to show the people that I'm a person upon the sunnah. And we find that is deceiving information which is being put through these people. And we find this new form of innovation that we find is meeting in hotels. That people will come there searching for a spouse, and you're given a ticket number like an animal. This is what one sister wrote an article about this, that she went to one of these functions in these nice flash hotels in the city to find a spouse. You're given a number and you sit down and the brothers parade past you. They look at your number and they go back and say, number 26 please. Could we talk to her? Where is your dignity, sisters? She writes herself, I felt so low. Men walking up to me, looking at me, then just looking at my number like I'm some form of animal being taken around for sale. Is this the way that you have interaction? And then to sit on one table and wishy-washy discussions, getting to know one another. Your discussion is with the mahram. That a person inside the house, the father, the elder brother, who has to understand the uncle, you sit there and you talk to the woman. The ulama have written that you can see her hands, her face, even her hair, and some even go to the opinion that she can show her shin, show her legs. But in general, it's to show her hands, her face, her hair. She can show it to the man that she's getting married to show the development of love. And that's why, according to the hadith of the Prophet, did you look at the woman? Did you go and see her? And he said, no. He said, go and look at her, because it will create love and affection between you both. This is the middle stance of the sunnah, the correct understanding. And like we find in the Afghan culture, if you ask to look at the woman, and even exists in this country, those people who come from that tribe, they'll say, I'll kill you if you look at my daughter. So what am I supposed to look at then? I want to get married. I'm not trying to insult you. But it exists in their culture. That's one extreme. And then we find the other extreme. That a woman will come all dressed up, everything, perfume and makeup, and come in front of you and serve you, and everything that, you're about to get married and you need to look at her. This is the other extreme. The balanced extreme is that the mahram is there, a guardian is placed there, of authority and understanding, and discussion is made in front of him. And however meetings are needed to finalize it, and that is sufficient. That is the sunnah. That is the leniency that we find. As for what we find is trying to divert the wali, the guardian, to take him out of the picture. He doesn't really know. Many sisters come and say, my father doesn't really know. I tell you one fact, that a man who's reached the age of 40 or 45, he's got a lot more experience than you have, a young girl on the street. And he knows the nature of man. Knows the nature of man. Believe me that when you reach that age, and anyone comes to ask for your daughter's hand in marriage, you can in a few words, bilay tawfiq, upon that age, assess that person. Don't be so naive and think that the guardian doesn't understand anything. Even if it is a person who's not very Islamic, they have that much understanding of life to judge a person. To judge a person and say that this person is either fit or not fit. The only time the role of the guardian is taken away is when the person is immoral. The man is totally immoral. Your father is totally immoral. Does not adhere to any of the teaching of Islam. Commits clear fisq and fujur, disobedience, that he can be taken away and then somebody else. And even then it is a person of authority from amongst his family, and if not then from amongst the A'immah of the Masajid, and if then the Sultan. And the Sultan is the wali liman la waliya lahu, laha. And the Sultan is the wali of the one who does not have the wali. So we need to continue through the steps and the channels and stop diverting it. Bringing any form of guardian, bringing any witnesses. My aunt is a witness to my marriage. Who said your auntie is a witness? It is two men that should be a witness to the marriage. And that's why we find that marriage is that you have to a'linu an-nikah, to announce it. And people have written, ulama have written, that even if the nikah has been done, the contract has been done, you should not consummate the marriage. You should not enter upon your wife until you have announced it. Because people may accuse you of having illicit behavior, because people don't know that you've been married. So you should announce the walima. You should have a great big celebration according to the Hudud al-Sharia. You should have this, so people know that you are married. Not that one day people see you walking down the street, oh, I saw you walking down the street with a sister. Because this is the way of shaitan. He flows in the blood of human beings.